Hello. We are here today. We are here today for the week 4 power rankings. Now, this up here is the objective rankings. This is where everyone excuse me. This is where everyone is at now. As you can see, we are still with our undefeated record. Very cool. Um and yeah, this league is still very competitive, and playoffs is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. So, without stalling anymore, let's get into this. All right. So, who performed the worst last week? Trying to think. Um, who did? I'm just trying to see who everyone played really quick. 'Cause it's been a minute. It has been a minute. I don't think anyone went 0-2 for the week. I think Chris did. Because Chris lost to Woo. Okay, we'll put Chris in last. Chris had a pretty rough week. Um, went 0-2 for the week. Had a rough matchup against Woo and JC. I mean, sometimes you get hit with a tough schedule, and he just couldn't perform this week. All good though. I expect him to hopefully start getting some wins under his belt, because Charizard needs them kills, big man. That's all I'm saying. He started losing when Charizard stopped getting them kills, so if he Charizard some kills again, and you should be getting some wins. So I'm excited. I'm ready to see what the dog can do. Alright, ninth. I'm trying to see. I don't think anyone else went 0-2 for the week. I'm trying to see. Oh no, Tabs did too. Okay, so Tabs had a pretty rough week as well. Lost his game to Preston because of Scizor. Let me just check really quickly. I could be wrong, but I think Preston beat Tabs. Yeah, he got the Sword Dance off and he just swept them. Yep. Okay, so again, tough game for Tabs. Scizor went crazy. Scizor went from not even being in the kill leaderboard. I think he had like 9 or 10 kills going into this week, or like 5 even, and now he's leading the league with 29. So Preston had an absolutely fantastic week this week, and his opponents were really unprepared. So Tabs had a rough week. Had a loss to Preston, and he played me, the boy, lost to me. So tough week, but I think he can bounce back. I think everyone can bounce back going into the second half, because again, once these rematches start coming in on Sunday and moving in for the rest of the season, moving into playoffs, it's gonna be very, very interesting. I would say very interesting. So I'm excited to see. Going into number 8. Mm, this is tough. Like, actually very tough. Honestly, I'm gonna put Tanner down here, bro. I'll be honest. I'm gonna put Tanner down here. Um, Tanner lost to Chase, which, I mean, I helped Chase prep for this game, so maybe you could say I saw it coming, but still lost to Chase. And then in his game against Preston, he he got swept by Scissor again, and he would have got swept again if Preston didn't make one bad play. So yeah, uh, tough week for the dog Tanner. Um, Probably gonna have another tough week coming up here, but I'm trying to think of who else I could put down here, but I really don't I don't think anyone else had as bad as like it's getting very competitive, and I think everyone else performed better in their games than Tanner did. So we're gonna move on to the next person because I think everyone else went 1-1 except for me. I think I went 2-0. So yeah, I think everyone won one and lost one, and then Tabs, JC went 0-2. I think. Anyway, we'll move on with no JC. Okay, so JC went 2-0 as well. Okay, so JC went 2-0 on the week as well. Okay. All right, so moving on. Um, I'm tempted to put Chase. Yeah, we'll put Chase here. Chase had a outstanding game against Tanner, and then that same night he had to get his game with B done. So it wasn't on Sunday; it was on Saturday. But played his game against B, got absolutely rolled. Uh, every time he brought out Latios, B just read him like a book and went for Ice Punch and O-code his Latios. I don't really God tier predictions from B. I probably didn't even make them, but after you see someone after you see someone read you like that once, you can't afford to make that prediction. You can't afford to make that switch again. And Chase just kept doing it and losing his Latios for free, which was very questionable. Um, and yeah, Chase is a very. This season has been just a story of Chase. Like Chase either plays very well or he plays very bad. There's Chase can't just play like, yeah, he played okay. He either plays very well or he plays very bad. No in between. But it showed again. Played exceptionally well against Tanner, and then he played not the greatest against B. Coming in at number 7. Um, I think he's definitely improving. The fact that he beat a top 3 team in Tanner is impressive. It's just a matter of can he get his what's the word I'm trying to find here? Can he get his consistency down? If he can become consistent, I can genuinely see Chase going to like semis or even finals. His team is very good. He's a good battler when his head's in the game. It's just sometimes he makes one or two mistakes, and it really just puts him very far behind his sets. Hopefully, Dog Chase can get it together. Excited to see what the dog can do. Number 6. I'm gonna put B here. Actually, we're gonna put Chase here. We're gonna put B here. The only reason I'm putting B below Chase is because in B's set against JC, I don't think he actually did anything. B Drill Bandits. I think his set against JC was really rough. But his game against Chase, he played extreme. Him and Chase very hot, very cold. Again, B's new, so can't really expect much from him. But even still, he plays very well, and I'm really excited to see how he keeps improving. Definitely, I can see him making playoffs if he can just get that learning curve up a little bit. If he can get that curve going up, definitely will be a threatening person to face going into the playoffs. I mean, we're only halfway done the season. I know I keep mentioning playoffs, but the first half went by pretty quick. So the second half is going to go by pretty quick as well. Going to be very interesting to see. Number 5. Hmm. I'm going to put Preston here. Preston has actually been playing like out of his mind the past 2 weeks. Like last week, when I was watching, I was like, okay, maybe 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 he just had a good week. But after seeing how he performed this week as well, Preston obviously changed something in the prep or in the way that he plays because he's been playing very, very well compared to how he was previously. Really understanding the power of Scissor now and he swept Tabs with it. He swept Tanner with it. Just all he had to do game 3 against Tanner was switch it out and Hydreigon came in, and he probably would have won again if he got them 2 sword stances up. So one misplay, he lost the set, but again, played extremely well the past 2 weeks, and this week he played even better than he did in week 3. So I'm excited to see what Preston does. He's 2 wins under his belt now. He has a lot of steam in the engine. I'm excited to see where Preston can go moving forward, and definitely looking forward to what the dog can do, because um, he's had a little bit of a rough season, but starting to turn up in the late, and this is when it matters most. A lot of like you look at a team like Tanner, played very well in the beginning, now kind of has 2 losses. You look at a team like Preston, had no wins, but now he's starting to get his wins. So we have one team dropping, one team rising. It's closing the gap for that playoffs, closing it in, and that's what it's all about. Preston, season's on the come up. I'm excited to see what the dog can do. Number 4, I'm gonna give it to the Daddy Diglets. Had a great week. Had a good game against Chris. I don't think he was ever in threat of really losing that game, if I'm remembering it correctly. And against MNAS, I mean, he made literally like 1 or 2 wrong plays in game 3, and that cost him the set just because Alakazam's broken. But even Wu had a very impressive week. Very easily could have went 2-0, but fell short in the game against MNAS, but really nothing to be ashamed of. Wu's new, and he's performing very well, so really can't ask for much more than that. So I'm excited for Wu. I think he's performing very well, and I'm looking forward to see how he goes moving forward. Again, I'm like really, um, really getting. He understands his team now. He's not letting drill die as easily anymore, because in the first couple weeks you'd kind of just switch drill into super effective attacks and lose it instantly. Now he's a little bit more cautious with it. He knows what to do. Has a very threatening team now with the Weezing, the Ditto, and the Latias now, so seems very scary, and I think he's definitely in the run for playoffs. Yeah, he's in the run for playoffs, so yeah, he'd be tied with Chase in tabs for playoffs right now, but um in the playoff run, looking very good for the boy. Number 3, we'll give it to MNAS. Saturday, he played me, and he lost. I still don't understand why he didn't bring the Darmanitan. It kind of really ran through my team, but that's good news from me. Good news from me. So I'm happy with that for my side. For his side, I really don't understand why he didn't bring Darm. And then his game against Wu, probably game of the season, I'll say. So far, that's probably game of the season. Me and Wu's game was good, but I think this one probably tops it. So yeah, I had a game of the season caliber game with Wu on Sunday. Came out with the dub, and he's keeping his record afloat at 4-4. He's in a great spot considering what 6 of the teams have a losing record, and he's at neutral. Very good spot for him. Probably a potential playoff team if he keeps this neutrality going with his record. Excited to see what he can do moving forward. Now, JC, I'm going to put JC second this week. I put him first last week, I think. Yeah, I think I put him over me last week, but I'm going to do this solely because his week, standing wise, he played easier teams. He played the Ash Ketchums and the Bandits. I played the Bambinos and the Linoons. So my games are a little bit harder. But I also, because didn't JC go to a game 3 in one of his games? I could be smoking crack, but 2-0'd Chris. And he 2-0'd B. Alright. So he's 2-0'd both them, but so did I. Really, me and JC are just looking like the top two teams at the moment. I'm gonna put myself over him. I'll be some. I put him over me last week. Switching it back to me this week. Again, I think my games were slightly harder, and that's really the only reason why. But yeah, JC had a solid performance, and I'm keeping the undefeated streak going. Hopefully, I can beat Tanner this weekend and secure the league sweep, the clean sweep. Very excited for me and Tanner's game. Because if I do beat Tanner, I think that's just a massive statement to everyone in the league. And once I beat Tanner, I mean, the only game we played before was week 1 of last season, and I won that. So, gonna be interesting to see how it works out this time. If I beat him again, that's gonna be really bad news for Tanner, because Tanner beat JC once last season, but then he lost in the finals to him, and then he lost this season, so... And the only time he beat JC was because JC misclicked. So if we want to get technical here, if Tanner loses this game against me, that's a pretty mental shattering loss, I would say. Because that means he has lost all of his games to the top 2 teams. I mean, again, he did beat JC once because JC, but you have to remember that it was only because JC misclicked. It wasn't because Tanner outpredicted him. So, if I'm Tanner, I'm trying my hardest to win his game against me for 2 reasons. 1, to end my streak, obviously, and 2, to prove that he's a top team competitor. Because as of now, he hasn't beaten me. Again, we only played once, but still important to note. And all 3 of his games against JC kind of looked rough. So yeah, this is a big moment for Tanner to prove if he's actually a top team competitor or if he's the gatekeeper into the top teams. Because the way I see it now, I would say me and JC are solidly the top 2, and then Tanner's like the gatekeeper. If you're worse than Tanner, you're in this like mid-tier range, right? You're in like this mid-tier range, like right here. But if you're better than Tanner, you're like top 2, top 3 teams. This can be a big week for Tanner because if he loses to me, that puts a lot of pressure on him moving into the playoffs, like thinking a couple months ahead of time. If he loses to me, he's got to think, I haven't been able to beat JC, really, and I haven't beat Plaz. How am I supposed to beat them? Because they're probably going to make playoffs. How am I going to beat them moving into playoffs? So for Tanner, this is a pretty big week for him, I'd say, and proving himself that he is a top team competitor and not the gatekeeper to the top tier. So, interested to see how this week will play out for everyone. But I think the player to watch this week specifically will be Tanner. I think this is a very important week for him, and seeing if he can beat me. Because if he beats me, I think he goes from being the gatekeeper to being top 3. But if he loses, I think me and JC are top 2, and he's just kind of like a placeholder as like, if you're better than me, you move up. If you're worse than me, you stay down. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. Definitely Tanner I would have as the player to watch this week. But again, these are the objective standings right here, and this is how I think everyone played this week in general. So yeah, these 2 teams went 0-2, and then me and JC went 2-0. Everyone else went 1-1, so very solid week. Again, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to get out. Bye.